Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, wherever and whenever you are joining us. Welcome to Season 3 of What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I'm your host, the coach Nick Vesci, joined by the boy Stephen Vesci
What up?
and the man Stephen Comlow.
Hello.
Now, if you're new to our show, we like to think of ourselves as the sports show for sports fans about sports. We like to focus on what happens inside the lines of competition rather than the outside noise that really has nothing to do with the game itself. Now, before we get into our top catch for this show, just a reminder to follow us on all of our socials. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all that information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Now, without further ado, we get into our top catch for the show. In this week, to kick off Season 3, we went with the college football playoff. So at time of this filming, we are up to the semifinals, right? So semifinal 1 features the number 1 and still undefeated overall seed, the Indiana Hoosiers, against the Oregon Ducks, the number 5 seed. On the other side of the bracket, you have the number 6 seed Ole Miss running without a coach Rebels, I should say, against the Miami Hurricanes. On that side, that's this number 6 versus number 10 matchup, which a lot of people didn't really see coming. Now, how did we get there? I believe if you watched our last show, we talked about the first round of playoffs where you saw Miami defeat A&M in College Station. You saw Ole Miss roll over the Green Wave of Tulane at home. Indiana had a bye. Oregon took down the JMU Dukes in Eugene to move on to the next round. So Indiana faced Alabama after they dispatched Oklahoma and Norman. Oregon was facing Texas Tech, the number 4 seed, in the Orange Bowl in Miami. Miami was facing, not in Miami, the Hurricanes were going and playing in the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. And the last one was Georgia and Ole Miss, a rematch from earlier this year, number 3 and 6. Now, we saw the first game of that matchup was the Hurricanes and the Buckeyes. Miami looked, I thought, really good in that game. Yes, they
physically dominant
Yes.
in the trenches, which doesn't happen to Ohio State.
No. They pushed them around. It's amazing, like what the boy said. That doesn't happen to Ohio State. Ohio State always has linemen in the NFL galore. Up front, like one of the biggest reasons they've been successful, everyone wants to point to like the skill guys they've had, but their line, offensive and defensive, the last several years has been arguably the best in all of college football. And Miami came in here, and Reuben Bain and Mesidor were just studs, the studs that they are. And that was amazing to see. They had that pick 6 that was phenomenal. Was it Deontay Scott? I think
that was
one of the best plays. That was such a good play. I mean, that literally would make your D coordinator scream so much that their eyes would pop out.
Wetsuit.
Yeah, that was awesome, right? That play. Yes, Ohio State tried to mount a comeback, still wasn't enough. Miami held off to win that game and continued to prove people wrong when they said they shouldn't be there. Then you had Oregon completely dominate and very inept-looking Texas Tech team.
That was the shocker of the weekend for me. I mean, we talked about this, that we thought Texas Tech might be the best team in the country after what they did to BYU, the way they've looked all year. They were a top 5 offense all year, and that includes yards per game and points per game. And I had a lot of people tell me that, well, no, they were just top 5 because their defense put them in the positions to score more points. No, they literally were top 5 in yards per game as well. So for them to just lay an egg and look like they never played football before was just completely shocking, especially because JMU put up 500 yards on this Oregon team in Oregon.
Yes,
that to me was the biggest shocker of the
week. The best line from the Bachelor, Jesse Palmer, was their defense still looks pretty good, but their offense looks like they've never played football before.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I don't know what the hell happened. Yeah, it almost looked like organized crime got to Texas Tech's offense. Like, that's how bad it was. I don't know how that is possible.
Especially this late in the season. Yes, you have Rusty coming off of, all that time off, and I get it. But at the same time,
that was beyond Russ. That was
Yes,
regression.
you shake rust off after at the worst
quarter.
after two quarters.
Yeah, and my thought was if you're within 10 at half, you're fine, right? Because I kind of saw with Ohio State, like they looked rusty to start. Like, oh, okay, they'll be fine, but then Miami proved to be, more physical. But Oregon, Texas Tech, I was thinking, okay, if you're within 10 or so at halftime, Texas Tech's offense will wake up. They have to, and they didn't.
No,
they looked worse.
We scored as many points as they did, which is saying something.
Yeah, that's bad.
We, as in the
that's
three
bad.
of us. Yes. The next game that I wanted to bring up was the Ole Miss Georgia game. It was the best of all of those games.
Yeah.
From that, it was a great game, back and forth. You had great plays, big plays. You got like the fake punt, which was awesome, that Georgia ran, that I thought was going to win them the game, and then
Georgia was scared, though. Kirby had to pull out a fake punt. He had to pull out a 4th and short from his own end. He was scared. He knew what was coming. He couldn't stop him. He knew Chambliss couldn't get stopped.
Fear. I think that's coaching and feel that he knew it would work. You got to give him credit that because were you expecting it? No, like that's the best.
The fake punt.
Punt is.
I disagree. Fake punt. I'm expecting a fake punt every single time from these programs now in bowl games or in college football playoff games.
But
anytime you're in your own end zone, I'm expecting your own 50. I'm expecting a fake. If you're 4th and 6 and under, I'm expecting. They
weren't near the 50 though. That was the thing. They were on like the 30.
I always am. It was the 4th and short call from his own side. That was the one where I said, okay, Kirby's scared. He's scared now.
Yeah, but give Ole Miss credit, right? Again, they're running without a coach. Rebels, their coach left to create a championship contender while already having a championship contender.
That is the funniest shit to me, is that Lane Kiffin decides I need to go to LSU to win a national championship when his team is a game away from the national championship.
Yes.
I don't. That just made no sense to me. His whole thing made no sense to me. Maybe the D coordinator that took the job, maybe he's the difference, because Ole Miss has always been offensive, maybe not defensively. That hasn't been their priority. But now enter this guy. They're still really good offensively. Now their defense is better. I don't know.
Ole Miss wins the Natty, Lane Kiffin still gets a ring, and isn't he still listed as the head coach of a team that won a national title? Like, is that how it works?
I don't know, because he was not coaching the game.
Players that get traded away during a professional season still get a championship ring.
No, but wasn't there an interim? It's an interim head coach now. He's not the head coach.
Yeah, he's no.
He had a chance to have a statue built in Oxford.
Statute.
Oh, well, I think you're wrong.
I really think you're wrong about that.
It's a statute of limitations.
But yeah, Lane Kiffin could have been an absolute legend in Oxford, and decides, oh no, I have to go there, even though his team is good enough to possibly win a national championship.
I will say my sources tell me that he is actually now looking at the Venezuela opening, and he may jump ship to go become president of Venezuela.
Put the other hat on at this point. Jesus Christ.
The money, man. There's a better chance to win a championship there.
I mean, you have to think that, the drive isn't necessarily Natty related. Obviously, every coach wants to get to the promised land and hoist the trophy at the final game of the season. But you got to think that, if that was the motivating factor, then he would have stayed to see this season out.
Yeah, but it's
maybe they just have better hot yoga in Baton Rouge than they do in Oxford.
The motivation, though, is I can get a statue built. It's the arrogance and the ego. I can get a statue built at Ole Miss, but what if I get a statue? What if I get a statue built at LSU? Nick Saban doesn't even have a statue at LSU.
Even though he has a national championship.
That's where it comes from. The hubris, the avarice to make that decision.
Ole Miss is starving for a Natty more than LSU.
But the pressure and expectation of an LSU versus an Ole Miss. Ole Miss historically has really not been that good at football. No,
they haven't. They've never won a national championship.
Archie Manning.
You had
Eli, and then
infamy.
No, it is, because he doesn't want to. He wants to be the one. Or I think again, Nick Saban couldn't even get a statue at LSU. I'll be the one to get a statue at LSU. Right?
He has to win multiple.
Because again, it goes back to that. Ole Miss again really hasn't produced much until he got there, aside from Archie Manning.
But that's what makes that job better in terms of clout and infamy and legend status, is that you brought a program that has been shitty and won with them.
I could get a statue built at Notre Dame, or I could get one built at Purdue.
We keep talking about statues,
and no, because the boy is right though, right? He had taken that program at Ole Miss to unprecedented heights, and we're seeing it right now. Like we just recapped, they really have not been that great historically, and so he did that, right? But it's still Ole Miss. It's still the way they said, it's still just Indiana, just be Purdue versus it's Notre Dame, right? You get a statue built at the highest of the high, something that very, very, very few people have accomplished. That goes more in your mind towards your legacy, and that has to be. You say we keep bringing it up, but that has to be the only reason, because you guys just said that. I mean, look at them now. They're on the verge of winning a national title. If your goal is to win a national title, there was no reason for you to leave, because you're taking over a program at LSU that needs more work, right? So
there's a lot of things I could say with Lane Kiffin that it made no
job's
sense.
Not done.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like, the move to LSU doesn't make sense unless
it doesn't make any sense.
Unless it's money,
but it's not like it's a huge difference, because Ole Miss was ready to match. So I get to play with 110,000 for 60,000 in my home stadium
forever. Legends.
The LSU lore is bigger than Ole Miss lore.
Ole Miss would have named buildings after him if he was there, and they wouldn't.
But again, would you rather a building?
I agree with you, Combo. I agree.
Ole Miss,
like the move to LSU makes no sense unless it's money. It's money, because everything that you can have at LSU, I feel like, is better and more significant at Ole Miss just because of the history of football in Ole Miss.
No, right? The history of at LSU is so absurd.
But it's because of like the greats and the people that have come before you. The reason the Ole Miss job makes you more legendary is because it's never been done there before.
I agree with you.
It's been total dog shit. Like, this program, like Nick said, has never had this kind of success and has never had the kind of like clout of being a national champion or anything like that. And if Lane Kiffin had taken them to the promised land, hoisted the trophy at the end of the season, and then continued to build that program up in this alternate universe that I'm in right now, like, he lives forever.
But I agree with you. I agree with you. And also, you get hired at LSU to get fired. If he doesn't win a national championship in 3 years, he's fired.
Yes, but again, though, right? So let's say he leads again the SEC. Let's go to hypotheticals, right? If he were to have won a national title at Ole Miss, and like you said, he becomes the legend, the face of everything football wise there. When he leaves, does Ole Miss have the stuff to sustain that success and basically keep his legacy going? Whereas at LSU, if he makes that, LSU's always going to be good, right? The odds of LSU winning 4 games in a year is like astronomical. This is like the worst year they could possibly have, and they won 7, right? So if he achieves that at LSU and wins that title or titles, right, and gets that legendary status there, it'll always be talked about more than at Ole Miss, where they could be a step away from having every game televised at noon on ESPN News versus they'll always have a night game at LSU, and they'll always say Lane, show his statue, right? They'll always do that.
The only way you're wrong, Nick, is if Ole Miss goes on and wins it all right now. I feel like everything you just said is undone by Ole Miss going and winning just to spite Lane Kiffin leaving.
Oh, it would make him look.
It would make him look hilarious. Like he would be the Schlemiel and the Schlemazel.
Yes. Jerry is both the Schlemiel and the Schlemazel.
Yes, Lane Kiffin, Schlemiel / Schlemazel.
That would be so great. By the way, like, this is if I didn't hate the SEC so much, I should be rooting for Ole Miss to win the whole thing. Just to stick it in Lane Kiffin.
Mm-hmm. The script is written. The script is written.
Phrasing. But however, I'm going to be rooting for Miami because I can't stand the SEC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, we did have Miami one last quarterfinal game, and that was Indiana and Alabama. Now, before we get to that, if you were keeping track, all 3 of the teams thus far who had a bye lost. Last year, all 4 teams that had a bye lost. So, there had yet to be, and I know chronologically, yes, the Indiana game happened before the Ole Miss game, but there had yet to be a team with a bye and win. Until Curt Cignetti stepped on that field at the Rose Bowl with Indiana, and they opened up a can of whoop-ass on the Tide. And the best part was when the Tide and DeBoer showed such arrogance to them to try to literally waste 2 timeouts, I think, to try to draw them offside in the first quarter of the first half, thinking this will work. This is something we can do because it's just Indiana. Just the absolute arrogance and really ignorance of that encapsulated that whole game because they just got fucking punked in front of everyone. They got exposed for the frauds that they are, and Indiana got to show everyone again that they are for real.
By the way, I want to rewind here a couple weeks to our last show
38-3, by the way, was the score.
When Nick said, I don't know, Alabama, I still believe Alabama will beat Indiana. I don't know. And I said, absolutely not. Indiana's going to win by 2 scores. And they had to win it by 38-3. Yes. So, Nick, you can suck on that one.
That was such, like, a can of whoop-ass is probably the best way to put it.
It's what I expected. That's
like, in the spirit of Christmas, they pulled a Ralph Parker and grabbed their plumber's helper and just rammed it down Alabama's throat. That was incredible.
That was Indiana played the way Alabama used to play. That was like the physicality up front, just running down your throat. I mean, that was a thing of beauty right there. That, like, I loved every second of it. I thought it was great. And now it's forced the media and Feinbaum to finally go, well, maybe the SEC isn't that good.
You know, that's kind of I guess, like, you know, everyone talks about, like, the downside of NIL and transfer portals and everything, but you got to think that without NIL, we probably wouldn't have this much parity in the college football.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's why this is one of the biggest things.
The semifinals is what, 3 teams that have never won a natty, and Miami who've only won it once.
No, Miami's won it multiple times. Their last win was 2001.
Yeah,
it's 2001. No, one of the biggest things with it too is a lot of people want, like, a lot of the SEC people too. They want a salary cap, right?
We have tapped into the SEC.
We have to go to a salary cap. We need salary caps. That's everything is always like a salary cap. Like, what happens when there's a salary cap? Well, the SEC just goes back to paying guys under the table.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they become good again. I don't want a salary cap because this is capitalism. This is beautiful. And it's spread everything out. When would you ever see Indiana up there, or Ole Miss, or, like, I mean, Texas Tech?
Tell you what, as long as they have
I'll take you another step
at the helm.
When did you think your lifetime UVA football win 11 games?
Would win 11 games? Yeah, never. Literally, it hasn't happened.
It has a lot to do with the transfer portal because almost every single one of those guys out there contributing for them.
By the way, the transfer portal also, because I know there's a lot of people that want to, like, how do we fix the transfer portal? There's way too many people in there. The transfer portal is also a product of coaches telling kids to leave as well. That's the ugly truth that people don't want to see.
Pulling the Dion. Hit the portal because I'm bringing my guys.
They have an exit interview with every player, and they're saying, here's your valuation. If your agent, there's terrible agents out there that also doesn't help. But if you think your value is higher than we have, like, we'll find someone else. See ya. Like, we want to bring in a different, like, our style is going to be different here, whatever. Like, we're going to send you didn't perform the way you wanted to. You cost too much money. See ya. So, like, the transfer portal does. Tigers. Yeah, exactly. But that does happen with the transfer portal a lot. But also with I
mean, I can actually attest to that firsthand. My teaching partner, her son, 3-year starter, defensive tackle for ODU, Ricky Ronnie, came in and said, from Penn State, anyone here who's graduated, you no longer have a scholarship by I'm bringing my own guys in. So basically the entire defense had finished their degrees and they were all going to come back, and he kicked them all out, and they all had to go into the transfer portal. They all had to find somewhere else to play or retire. And no one cried for any of them. They all had to figure that out.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the part of it that, like, you do feel kind of bad about, like, programs that you grow to love. It is a double-edged sword when you start talking about NIL and players getting paid and transfer portals, obviously. Like, and I do think that we could all agree that there is some fine-tuning that could go on with it. But, like, the last 2 years, we've all grown to love and just fall in love with the JMU Dukes. And then after this year, their whole starting 11 on offense is either graduated or in the portal. I think they had 7 people hit the portal and 4 graduate. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the other, like, bad side of it. But I mean, it's above my pay grade.
Yeah, well, yeah, but right. Also it strips away a lot of the talent that you see at lower levels, but it also promotes, a lot of that talent at lower levels. A guy who might be playing for Rice, who might not get a look at all for the NFL, he puts up a good year. He gets some interest from Oklahoma, and he goes there and lights it up. And that kid just got an opportunity he wasn't going to get because the NFL would have looked at the name on the front of that jersey that said Rice and dismissed this kid. Where now it says Oklahoma, and he's got a chance. But it also gives guys who go to some of these bigger schools who are never going to get a chance to play. Well, they can go transfer to UTEP, that's for you, Kamlo, and they can play. And maybe they play their way right into getting drafted from UTEP. Maybe they play their way into transferring again, right? Or maybe they just get the chance to play, right? Which is ultimately what you are always desiring. So there is that yin and yang. I did hear recently that possibly a way to kind of give back to the little guys that are having their talent siphoned away, it seems like, is to kind of do what soccer does and make you pay like a transfer fee. Like if I want your running back from Rice to come to Oklahoma, Oklahoma has to pay X amount. Like obviously it doesn't have to be like $5 million. It could be just $200,000, but they have to pay X amount to Rice in order for this kid to go on top of what they would pay the kid, which I believe, Kamlo, is how transfers work in soccer, right? You pay the fee to the club. Correct. If I'm Arsenal and I want someone on Tottenham, I'm paying Tottenham, and then I'm paying the guy I got as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an interesting concept. I don't think it'll ever happen because
I feel like that's venturing into the neighborhood of like kind of like what we see with you see it a lot in baseball is we're going to retain part of this player's salary, right?
But again, we're moving to such a professional model. Again, all these, like Stevie said, all these kids have agents. So why not operate?
It's coming fast.
Yeah, why not operate in that professional model standpoint where, okay, we'll take on this guy's salary in exchange for this. I mean, we're almost at that point where you're going to be trading guys.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Right.
By the way, there is something with like NIL and the transfer portal with like spreading around talent. I think it's also exposed who the best coaches are in the country and how your team operates and how the culture operates and how it used to be Jimmy's and Joe's over X's and O's. And now I think it's the opposite now. I think you're getting to the point where X's and O's over Jimmy's and Joe's. Indiana had, I think, the 72nd talent rating as far as stars go in the like 24/7 composite, and Alabama had the 2nd ranked talent composite, and Indiana won that game 38-3.
Yeah, no,
and having older people as well, like guys who are proven that you can go and bring them in and fit into your system and your culture. I really think that the coaches have, as much as maybe we thought the coaches wouldn't have as much control, I think they actually have more.
Yes, so you bring up an interesting point there about kind of the rankings of stuff. And I think it exposes who's actually a good football player too. Right?
Correct.
Because you have these guys that get labeled with these stars. And you go, oh, well, this team won recruiting because they have X number of 5 stars. But I mean, how many years did we see Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher win recruiting and then
every year,
right?
Yep.
So that could be twofold. It could be the X's and O's, and it could be the fact that those guys really weren't as good. Maybe there's a reason that this other team didn't
athleticism versus being a football player sometimes is different.
Yes, and it's very different actually. But I would like to point out, you brought up also that talent ranking. I was looking at 24/7's transfer portal rankings after last year, so going into year 2025. Indiana was ranked one spot ahead of the University of Virginia on that list, and they were both one spot below like Ohio State or something. And now, again, it's not like Ohio State was 3. It was like 21, 22, and 23 or something like that. But it's still, it goes to show that then there's talent going to those schools that otherwise wouldn't. And then when you pair a good coach with just increased talent that those schools aren't used to, you get this success, right? So I think it's a combination of what you said, Boyd, that you were weeding out who is actually a good player. Because those guys fall through the cracks all the time. I mean, think about every guy that so many of our favorite NFL players, so many of your favorite Patriots, right?
You hear it when they come through with like the starting 11.
Edelman and Daniel
Woodhead you've never heard of before.
Yes. I mean, Belichick had a quarterback from Kent State and a lacrosse player starting at wide receiver on Super Bowl teams.
Yes, and those are the diamonds in the rough that are now getting exposed. If I had committed to play at Temple, and it, like I said, that kid could be really good and could make it to the NFL, but he's on Temple.
Could be.
They say, well, unless you had like 300 tackles and 75 sacks, we won't even look at you, right? But now that kid,
unless you're Khalil Mack at Buffalo,
yes, people are looking at him and going, hey, you know what? I think we could use him here at Georgia Tech. And he goes to Georgia Tech in the ACC and produces, and now this kid's getting drafted and is getting looks and getting what he deserves, what he should have had all the time, but just didn't have the opportunity. So I think in a lot of ways it is giving more opportunity to people who deserve it. Now, is it a CF? Yes, mightily.
100%, yeah.
It is Wild Wild West, no regulations. You do whatever you want type of thing. The timeline for it is absolutely absurd with it going on right now, and the season isn't even over. Stuff like that. The whole thing about it, you have X number of days if your coach leaves to go in to the portal. All those things are kind of ridiculous. It needs to be, again, we talk about a pro model. It needs to be that there's a year-end date like there is in all the other, like the professional sports, like the calendar year for that
yesterday
sport
was
starts
Black
on a
Monday for the coaches.
Yeah, but like the calendar year, like they have their calendars and there's a date. Like the NFL year starts in like April or something like that, or I think, right, for the next year or March, right? They need to have that, and right when that year-end date hits, then you just open it up and let everyone go. The same way they do with free agency for all these other sports. It's the first day of free agency. The whole season's done. Free for all, basically, with that free agency until the season starts, and then you play.
Yes,
and that's what's making this all ridiculous is we're talking about
Dan
this.
Lanning
we don't even have a national champion.
Yeah, Dan Lanning has proposed that the college football season should end. National championship should be on New Year's Day. That's when it ends, and then we go from there. You have to start it earlier.
Yeah, and in a sport like this, you really want games starting the beginning of August?
No, because look at how many days off there's been between games and stuff. You can start it a week earlier and finish. He laid out the timeline.
But the national championship won't take place for not this coming Monday, but the Monday after, right? So it's still there's a lot of time happening. January 1st would be almost impossible, but you could move it up a week or so.
You have to do something.
I mean, like, I understand there was too much money on the table to not roll it out like this when they did. They'll figure it out, and it'll they'll dial it in as we go. They'll dial it in as we go.
By the way, I do want to talk about the conference records and everything that has happened in this bowl season. How the SEC is terrible. ACC's.
Before you get to it, can we just, for the people, recap who the Final Four is? So we have just so.
R?
What?
Final Four.
The Final Four in college football?
Yes. Number 6 Ole Miss versus number 10 Miami, and number 5 Oregon versus number 1 and still undefeated Indiana. Just so people know that. Those games will happen this Thursday and Friday. I also don't know if people know that either, that the first game's on Thursday, the next game's on Friday night. And then the national championship will not be that ensuing Monday, but the following one after that. Mm-hmm. Now, Boy, what were you saying?
Correct. What I was going to say is that with the bowl records and everything, the postseason records, I should say, with the SEC being much lower, ACC's way higher than what people would have thought. Big Ten's still cruising like they usually do. Big 12's been like 500. With these bowl season records and everything, I want to talk about how the shift of these conferences and how it's more matchup based than it is just conference based because of how everything's a super conference now. So it used to be, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the Big Ten had an identity. The entire Big Ten we have great offensive lines, but there's a lack of speed except for Ohio State, right? And now you entered Oregon and USC and UCLA into that conference. Now it's a little bit different. Now everyone's got a different dynamic of how they're playing. Coaches get moved around a lot. The SEC used to be, we have the best athletes, especially defensively, that you can that are on the field. Now the talent's getting spread around. Now it's a little different. Now you add Oklahoma, Texas, you add a couple other teams in. The Big 12 used to be, we're air raid. We don't play defense, but we throw the football constantly. Now that's way different. They actually run the ball a lot more in the Big 12. But that conference, adding the Arizonas, adding the Utahs, like the Utah teams, the Arizona teams, that conference is different. ACC adds some teams from the Pac-12. All these conferences now, they don't share an identity that they used to, right? So you're getting more matchup-based things. And whether it's a Big 12 versus an ACC school, an ACC versus an SEC, Big 10 versus SEC, whatever it is, it depends on the individual matchups more than it is the conference matchups.
Yes, and
that to me is my opinion.
You bring up a good point here. What this should expose is that everyone should be looking more at the individual team and less about the acronym for the conference that's
Correct.
on their crest. Because, we said this earlier, right? Many of these SEC teams that were vying or got in the playoff used the strength of beating Missouri and Tennessee as their best wins. And Missouri and Tennessee have beaten no one this year. They both have 8 wins.
But they were ranked.
They were ranked up. Even one poll, UVA beating Mizzou. Mizzou in one poll was ranked 25. Mizzou and Tennessee have literally beat no one. No one. They basically beat up on us. And all of their losses are to good teams. And that's where they put their hung their hat on. But when you look at that and go, well, then why the hell are they ranked versus a TCU who wouldn't even sniff the rankings, but has finished 9-4? Is that what they finished?
Correct. Beat USC too in that bowl game with their backup quarterback.
Sniff the rankings, but you have to look at each individual team. Missouri and Tennessee were being ranked just for the sake of the acronym on their chest, and that's kind of ridiculous. And we said it before, we looked at those teams, we're like, these teams aren't good. They're just like any other team with the same record as them for the most part. There was no differentiation. So why is that team being ranked so many spots ahead of everyone else? Well, because the identity of the conference, and that means something because they're playing tough opponents. But it's are they? We went through this before. The SEC really had a couple good teams, but their top 5 were decent teams: Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas, Vandy. Did I miss someone there? Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma got
in. We're all decent teams. All decent teams though, right?
But you didn't trust Oklahoma. You didn't trust Alabama.
You didn't trust Vandy. You didn't trust A&M. Oh yeah, A&M. Forgot about them, right? So you had those teams, but many of those teams, like I said, their resumes were propped up by the fact that they had these wins over. Oh, well, look at they beat Tennessee and Missouri and Auburn, and this is those teams aren't good. So you have to look at the individual team. Yes, you look at the result, and the result has to matter. But you also have to look at the big picture. And like the boy said, the big picture is what do you see, how that team performs? And also, how do they match up against this team? Because the boy is right. Some of these matchups behooved other teams and hurt some others, right? But again, at the end of the day, we need to do away with this narrative that this conference matters more than this one. Because that's essentially what this is disproving. And it's actually been disproved many, many times. We just,
the last 3 years they've disproved it.
Yes. You have to look at the individual team and you have to couple that with the results. And you can't worry about so much what the name on the front says and what the acronym on the front says. But I know for a lot of people, to be honest with you, it's probably a time issue. Who has the time to watch all of these things? And they'll say, everyone watches all this, and they don't. There's always been a East Coast bias that West Coast teams have always complained about, because that's completely true, right? And I think there's a reason there were less late night games. Remember, they used to Pac-12 after dark all the time. There was like 4 or 5 games going on at 10:30 at night. Not so much anymore. It's like 1 or 2, and you're lucky if one of them is a power conference. Most of the time, it's like the Mountain West, right? So
correct.
You've had those things that are real, and I just wonder if this will be a wake-up call for everyone out there who's evaluating what how do you rank teams? Because rankings mean, unfortunately, in this sport, are paramount, right? In the NFL, you earn everything. Who gives a shit about our offense was ranked this? We lost more than we won. We're not in the playoffs, right? But rankings are so big and matter so much in college football that, if you're not doing it or not putting in the effort to really dissect what it is, and you're the people in power, you are hurting other teams. And that's where you get the tinfoil hat, conspiracy, corruption, collusion.
I don't think it's conspiracy anymore.
Right, that show up.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's not fair to anyone, except for
when you had Feinbaum go on ESPN and say, I know people, the powers that be. If the college football committee doesn't bow to the SEC this year, there's going to be problems. And they did, and look, the SEC sucked. So the 100% is.
It should be.
I don't think it's a tinfoil hat anymore. I think it's just fact.
Yeah, but again, you also can't just take everything based off a game. Yes, it should matter because results do matter, but you also can't take it all. These aren't just based on
one game. These are based on the records. This is based on Illinois beating the crap out of SEC team back-to-back years.
That is true. Yes, it is about things like that.
Iowa beating Vanderbilt. I think everyone liked Vanderbilt as like, wow, look at their resume. Like that's pretty damn good. They're 10-2. That's incredible. Iowa punched them in the mouth.
Yes. No, but again, it's a case by case basis. Iowa's schedule, their losses are to like all these
really
playoff
good
teams, right?
Yeah,
it was really like Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, or something like that, and USC. I think it was just
USC.
But again, that goes back to it's so hard to judge that because Mizzou's losses were all to Oklahoma, Alabama, Vandy, and whatever, Ole Miss or something like that. So
again, it's matchup by matchup.
Yeah, no, and you just have to. But
we can do away with any SEC bias and dominance. Yes, but the problem is the preseason rankings next year.
That means so much.
There'll be 8 SEC teams in there.
That's the biggest issue because again, like I said, those rankings mean so much. And
why we have to do away with preseason rankings?
I agree. Preseason rankings for basketball, really every sport in college is based off of talent and potential. So it's not looking at what do we think this team's record will be. We're just looking at straight the talent on this roster. Is this talent better than this roster? And that really isn't fair either because we've seen, so many teams this year. You brought up we've said this for will over skill and all that stuff prevail because that matters. It's not quantifiable, but it matters more than what star rating you have. But the last thing, you love to hammer the SEC, which is completely fine by me because a lot of people are kind of sick of it. But their bowl record, I want to say, was it only 1 win against a non-SEC team or 2 wins?
Something like that, yeah.
Texas beat Michigan, and then their other victories is Alabama beat Oklahoma, Ole Miss
beat Georgia,
Tulane, and Georgia,
and Ole Miss beat Georgia.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of that. Might be it, honestly.
It's and then that's the stuff that drives people nuts is, when we want things to be proven on the field and they're getting proven on the field, and then people go, wait, this doesn't match what our narrative is. What do we do now? Right. And so,
by the way,
ratings matter. They shouldn't. You're right. They shouldn't do preseason rankings. They should wait until conference play starts.
By the way, speaking of bowl games, there was a big bowl game with a Power 4 versus a Group of 5 opponent, but the Naval Academy beating the hell out of Cincinnati.
Dude, how about that absolute slop fest of a rainy game?
The second I saw it was
at
raining.
Mom and Dad's house. I was at Mom and Dad's house. I watched the first half with them, and then we left at halftime, rushed home, and saw the end of it. Oh my God. My dad sent me a picture of a whiskey sour in a low ball glass and said, "Celebratory whiskey sour, go Navy." That's an upset too.
They're
Cincy was
built for
favored
the
in that
slop.
game.
Since he was favored in that game,
yeah, they were
which
favored. I
is
think by like
ridiculous.
3.5
the
points.
disrespect towards the Naval
Yes.
Academy
Correct.
is kind
I
of
know.
mind-boggling. They just won? Was it 21 games the last 2 years? 21
In 2
games,
years,
I
yeah.
think.
11 and 10,
10 wins last year, 11 this year. The most ever in the history of the Naval Academy, in a 2-year span in the history of Naval Academy football, which is amazing considering the legends that have played there. And for this team who, again, they had no shot to get in the college football playoff because they didn't even make their... Even if they won that championship game, who knows if they would have gotten in, right?
They cracked the rankings for, what, a week?
Yeah. Which is kind of... And again, the disrespect just because Notre Dame beat the piss out of them. But it was ridiculous.
It was a slop fest, and my God, did that ever work out in their favor? That was such a fun game to watch.
They live for the slop. They love the slop. Yeah. The second I saw that it was like pouring rain, I was like, I'll take Navy. The Navy's going to destroy this. And they played, or they showed the quote from Horvath of all these guys think they're in a brotherhood. He goes, "This is a real brotherhood. These guys leave. They're there for 1 year, 20 to 30 new players come in and they leave or whatever." He's like, "That's not a brotherhood. This is an actual brotherhood." And I was like, I'm so glad they showed that, and as Navy's just beating the hell out of them.
Yes, that was pretty sweet. Anything else before we move on to our
Cincinnati's starting quarterback is gone.
Yeah. Anything else before we get to our 3 strikes?
Nothing from me.
All right, Convo, you got it queued up.
First
strike goes to boy.
All right, I'm gonna go with Nebraska basketball, or as the kids are calling it, Nebraska ball. Nebraska ball. Yes, they are saying that. By the way, you know who their coach is?
Damn kids.
Isn't it Fred Hoiberg?
That's correct. It is Fred Hoiberg. Nebraska is 14-0 to start the year. They just beat Ohio State last night on the road by 3 points. By the way, Ohio State's actually pretty good. Don't expect, like, I would expect Ohio State to be a bubble team / make the tournament, but Nebraska, big win on the road. They are 14-0, which is the best start in school history. They are a fun team to watch, and they play elite help defense. It's a coaching tape watching their defense play. The help side defense, by the way, they also force the ball middle, which is they clog the middle, force the ball baseline. So they, like, anytime you get into the middle, it's just you're done. And they push it baseline, which is also something that, for whatever reason, coaches always say, don't let them go baseline. No, push them baseline, please. It's an extra defender.
Yes.
So their help defense is elite. They're a fun team to watch. Watch out for Nebraska basketball. It's a legitimate undefeated season right now. So I expect them to do.
What's amazing too with them is they have the expectation of this. You probably saw that their players, after they beat Michigan State, who's number 9, the fans stormed the court, and the players were kind of like, great, we love the sport, but stop storming the court. We're number 13 in the country at home against
they're number 10 now.
we expect to win that game, so we shouldn't be storming the court on a game that we expect to win. Which is, again, that's very Signetti, right?
It
like
is
something he would
say. It feels just like that.
Yes. And good for Fred Hoiberg, because in a lot of ways he was much maligned as a coach. He was at Iowa State, his alma mater, where he was the mayor, right? He did legend at Iowa State, and did very well, but they were always kind of on the cusp, never breaking through. And then he parlayed that into the Bulls job, I believe, and did not do well with the Chicago Bulls, and then was kind of in purgatory, basically, and went and took this Nebraska job, and now has them playing great basketball because he's a great basketball coach, hell of a shooter, right, that he was in his day. But good for Fred Hoiberg in that. The crazy thing that I learned from all this success that we're seeing at Nebraska basketball is they're the only Power 4 team to never win an NCAA tournament game. Yes. The only Power 4 team to never win a game in the NCAA tournament.
That changes this year.
Let's hope so. That'd be nice.
They're gonna have some big tests on the horizon. They got Number 2, Michigan in Michigan on January 27th.
I think they might be the best team in the country.
They have number 16, Illinois, February 1st. Yeah, so they have some tests coming up. They play Purdue in February as well. February is going to be a hard-hitting month for them. Oh, my God.
That's good. That's how you learn how to win come postseason. So
yeah, their second half
Michigan might be the best team in the country.
Is going to be wild.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun to see.
Put them on the radar. I like it.
Yep. Convo, hit it.
Hitting it. Let's do. All right. So for mine, I mean, obviously, I mentioned it earlier. Yesterday was Black Monday for the NFL, meaning there's going to be a lot of motion. The season's over, and we're starting to see people get fired, people leave, people take new deals, whatever. And that kind of bled over into today. I think we had a huge 1-2 punch today in terms of coaches and teams parting ways. But some of the big ones, Jonathan Gannon out at Arizona. Not really surprising. It didn't really do a whole lot for me. Stefanski, done in Cleveland after 6 seasons. And he took the axe with much poise. He was very demure about it. He kind of shouldered all the burden of the lack of success coming out of the Cleveland Browns, which is a nice gesture. I mean, no offense to Stefanski, we know it's not you.
3 years ago he was the coach of the year.
Yes, they won 5 games this year, didn't they?
Something like that. It's not a Stefanski
in
problem.
A normal Browns season, 5 wins is incredible.
Dog pound. We back. Yeah, it's not Stefanski's fault. He's merely the fall guy. He's the puppet. We all know that is a front office dumpster fire.
Is Kevin Costner not running that front office anymore?
Well, it didn't hurt what happened to Chadwick Boseman, his big pick. That didn't help him. Rip.
Big one, Pete Carroll, one and done in Vegas.
I expected that one.
There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that's coming out. It's obviously all hearsay and conjecture, but I guess an anonymous agent has told agent meaning like representative for the athletes, not like CIA operative. An anonymous like agent for some of the players in Vegas have said that I guess the front office was going to give Pete Carroll this one season based off of some of the hirings and has called out failed nepotism because he hired his son and his son-in-law, I believe, as the offensive line coach. And
God, their offensive line was terrible.
Yes, that was the big problem. And the agent went on to, expose himself as an agent for some of the linemen on that team and said that he felt that, I think his name's Brennan Carroll, was rushing them through drills.
Brennan has a man, John. No, Brennan has a man.
Yeah, he was rushing them through drills, not really giving them the time of day, and so pretty much the starting offensive players were having players-only meetings like every week to try and figure out what they could do and what more they could do to, be better. And so a lot of people are saying that it's not just the record that is forcing Pete Carroll out. It's the record plus the what's coming out about the people he hired to help him run that
team.
He
was like 73 years old, so whatever.
2 names. Mm-hmm. 2 names. I've heard rumblings, and I don't think this is true, but that the Raiders may try to create some sort of package deal to take Fernando Mendoza 1 and hire Curt Cignetti as head coach.
Whoa.
To get them together.
I mean, they've secured the number 1 pick.
Yes. But the other name...
Cignetti's not going anywhere, but Mendoza, I expect Mendoza to go 1.
Is Tom. Why not Tom? Down there, Tom in a suit on the sidelines in a blazer, because you got to... I feel like he'd be coaching in a blazer. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you why not Tom. It hurts the legacy.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan,
quarterback,
when he goes out there and they don't
coach.
Well, does it hurt?
Plus, I feel like
Michael Jordan.
Also, and no disrespect to Tom. You guys
Michael
know
Jordan was
I will
the
praise
GM.
Tom Brady every chance I get. No disrespect to Tom. It would be hard to coach a professional team of Warriors week in and week out with that level of Botox in your face. He looked out of his mind on the Christmas Day games. Did you see like the filler he got in his eyebrow? His eyebrows looking like this.
Try not to look at his face or any part of him.
Yeah, he looked like Tim Allen in Christmas with the Cranks when they're getting ready to go on vacation. No disrespect, Tom. Love you. We'd love to have you on, friend of the program, I'm sure. But no, it wouldn't be Tom. You're gonna be owner coach. What is he, Jackie Moon?
Yes, no, but you say legacy. Think about that.
Don't you want to love me sexy? I mean,
God damn it, Vakitis.
Right yeah.
Learn fucking English. Yeah.
Another big one, not a head coach, but this one sent shockwaves through the DMV, was Cliff Kingsbury out in DC.
He wants to explore his head coaching
Reportedly, Jaden Daniels is pissed.
Reportedly,
Jaden Daniels wrecked the locker room when he saw that news because he didn't know. He saw it on the TV.
So,
it's not. Well, he can't hit the transfer portal, so it doesn't work that way in the NFL.
Yeah, so I think that one caught me by surprise. But I think the one that was most surprising, and you guys know where I'm going with this, the whole world knows where I'm going with this. Our thousands of listeners and viewers that are tuning in live right now know this. Harbaugh out in Baltimore. I mean, I think that's the most surprising. I get it. It's a business and it's a what have you done for me lately business. But I mean, what the fuck?
I told you this when you sent me that knee-jerk reactions rarely end up well.
Correct.
It seems like a dumb move to me. Just sleep on it for a night.
Yes, I was just saying yesterday. No, like this is such an overreaction to a missed field goal because everyone was talking about it. I said, this is an overreaction. Like, you're not going to do that unless you know you have somebody better than Harbaugh right there on the horizon, right? The Patriots got rid of Gerard Mayo because they knew they had Vrabel. Like, they have to know that, like, there's something we don't know that Baltimore's front office knows.
Or, because here's, again, a lot of
Kurt
times...
Signetti!
That'd be funny. No, like you said, these knee-jerk reactions oftentimes are done by organizations that think they're better than they are. Like
the whole Penn white State landowners.
Penn State James Franklin thing. But
Exhibit A, Baltimore Ravens.
But they're not that. The Ravens have been one of the best run organizations since they came into existence. They really have.
But that's what they think they're better than they are.
No, because when you're well run, you have the concept of who you are, the same way the Steelers do. And so, yes, knee-jerk reaction in a lot of ways, but I think it was also a desperation move because they're sitting there saying, how long is Lamar Jackson's window to A, be on our team, and B, win a championship with him? And, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So almost saying that, yes, the success Harbaugh has had is undeniable, but we almost out of desperation, let's try to throw essentially a quote-unquote Hail Mary and see if a change of leadership will help get us over the hump because, you know,
because your best player was hampered by injury half the year, and they still put up they were literally a field goal away from going to the postseason. I don't like it because of that. Like,
yes.
I know injuries always happen. Lamar Jackson injury hits different than other injuries.
Yes.
I don't like the move.
You had the Lamar Jackson injury. Derrick Henry had a weird year where he couldn't hold on to the football for some reason.
First time ever.
And you're still right there.
It's like, but Nick, by your logic though, like I think every team that has their franchise quarterback could be saying the same thing because like in this era, it's been the Mahomes show. Right.
Well, they are. That's why there were a lot of people surprised that Zach Taylor in Cincinnati didn't get fired. And
not only did he not get fired, the Bengals front office affirmed He's our guy.
But
just
a lot of
we're not seeing anything in Buffalo. We're not seeing anything in Philly.
Well, no, Philly, for whatever reason, Nick Sirianni, even though he's been one of the greatest coaches, one of the greatest coaching beginnings to a coaching career ever, actually statistically, right? For whatever reason, he's always been on the hot seat. But no,
we're not seeing anything in Detroit. We're not seeing anything in LA.
Well, Detroit, come on, they missed the playoffs and won 8-9 games.
9 games, they went 9-8.
Like the Browns, like how many years combined in our lifetime did the Lions not win 9 games? Like you could string together 6-7 years and they didn't even get to 9 games.
Sorry, right? Mike.
Our Guatemalan contingent would confirm that, right? So the fact that yes, it's disappointing if you're a Lions fan because they've been so good. It's also not disappointing because you won 9. They gave you 9 reasons to celebrate, which is.
But so many teams have been on the bubble and close, but haven't been able to solve the Chiefs' problem, haven't been able to solve the Eagles' problem, haven't been able to solve the Patriots' problem that have been.
Who do you think you're going to hire?
That's been around in
that's
the last
issue,
decade.
Is that
who do you think you're going to hire that's going to somehow magically change this?
Harbaugh. They have to have something. I feel like we're going to hear about a head coach.
It's going to be going to be some offensive coordinator that Lamar Jackson fits in, and then they're going to lose their
like a Rams and McVay type thing.
No,
I do. I think they're going to take a chance on an OC, and you think maybe it's Kingsbury.
Maybe
it's Cliff Kingsbury.
But then guess what happens to the Baltimore defense that is like, this is the Ray Lewis, the Terrell Suggs, the Peter Bullwares.
It's a man's game.
It's a man's game, and then all of a sudden that defense sucks because all we care about is the offense and Lamar Jackson putting up 40 points, and you lose the AFC title game 50-40 because it's Oklahoma football like that, Big 12 Oklahoma football, but like that's what I see. And then you have Ray Lewis coming on, going, this defense is embarrassing, and they're like, okay, now Baltimore, what are you going to do then?
To say,
I think they're going to take a big risk, but that's where the buck stops, though. It's not Harbaugh. Right, obviously it's not. But again, it's the idea of we got to try something. The buck stops
John Gruden
there. Let's take a chance because again, if the chance doesn't work out, and they go with the same record, you're in the same boat, right? You fire a coach and you try to do something else, right? So I think it's just to take a chance to try to win. Again, this is a very well-run organization. It has been for our lifetime, or at least since
it has.
Yes,
existed,
Baltimore
right?
So if you're not a Baltimore fan, Baltimore's been a problem for your team.
That's the main difference in this versus what you often see from other college or professional organizations. When you see this carousel going, it's normally because that organization sucks and is complete garbage.
Okay, so I got a question for you then with Baltimore. They have always had an identity since their organization began, right? For our lifetime. They've always had an identity.
Injuring defense.
Yes. Do you think this new hire will continue the identity, or will it be completely different? Because you're saying they might throw a Hail Mary.
The culture.
I think it might be a little different. Now you'll still have, because that culture is so well established, right? There are probably so many luminaries that are around that team throughout the year. That you just rattled off a bunch of them. I'm sure those guys are in contact with the team and see stuff and in contact with the front office people, right?
Yeah.
You're still going to have that identity there, but I wonder if the hire you get for the head guy is more shaped, like you said, boy, towards Lamar Jackson. Let's maximize everything here, and we'll try to fill the holes with, some very veteran D coordinator that make the defense good enough.
And that's
because
where that's where
like the New Kids on the Block movie so much.
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
We're gonna bring out Ray
Lewis. I want the hire to be completely defensive.
It's not what
I understand that, but I understand what they're thinking is probably Lamar Jackson, and I don't think that's going to work out. I think you need defensive hire first, and then Lamar Jackson makes enough plays, enough moves to get you to 24 points and you win 24-21 in these games. That's what I need.
I also may be of the unpopular opinion here. I definitely am.
You usually are.
Yeah, which I'm okay with.
To play devil's advocate.
This isn't even devil's advocate. This is just kind of this is not devil's advocate. This is just an opinion.
I actually sound like Stevie.
I don't think they'll win with Lamar
Sounds just like
Jackson.
Nick being a little bitch.
I don't think they'll win with Lamar Jackson. Because, yes, he'll be able to put up numbers, right? But when it comes down to winning games in the postseason, quarterback decision-making and accuracy with the football are the biggest things you need.
That's why Josh Allen hasn't won
not
either.
Other stuff. Yes, if you look at the QBs that have won, it's always, yes, you have many elite quarterbacks, but it's the accuracy, decision-making. I mean, hell, go back to Joe Flacco's run when they won that championship. The guy was literally, every game was like 22 of 25 every game with no turnovers. I don't think he didn't commit a turnover that entire playoff run that they won, right? So those are the things that he has to fine-tune. And yes, you can look at regular season stats and show, well, wait, his completion percentage is this, isn't this? But when it gets to that cold weather in the playoffs, you have to be able to deliver in the pocket timely, quick throws. And that is not been his strength. And so
this is also, and also it's not just picking on Lamar Jackson. I think the Josh Allen criticism can go with that as well. These are the two MVP favorites every year, pretty much. I think you can lump Josh Allen with that because he hasn't beaten Mahomes. He hasn't gotten past over the hump to get to a Super Bowl because of guess who sits in the pocket and makes all these plays and has the best decision making, Patrick Mahomes, and he's been running the AFC for the last 7 years.
And people will say, well, what about Mahomes' improvisation, all the things around? If you look in the playoffs, yes, that still happens, but it's nowhere near as much as what it's happening in the regular season. He is judicious when it's in the playoffs, and he picks and chooses his spots. I mean, that's the same way with
Collinsworth.
All of these guys. Like Russell Wilson had that too when he was on that streak winning, right? So it one of those things. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have to change how he plays if you want to win a Super Bowl. So that may go into that head coaching hire and that thought process, as well as thinking who is going to be the person that can get him over the hump. Very Ovechkin-like, to bring a comparison to you, because it's not like Ovechkin wasn't putting up monster numbers. He was. And Barry Trotz came in and said, you can still put up great numbers, but you have to change these little things, because these things will win you a championship. And what happened? He won the Stanley Cup, and we think of Ovechkin completely different. Even with the goals record, that goals record looks so much different when you tie that Stanley Cup and the picture and all of that, him in the fountain, him holding it, all that changes how we look at him even with it. And so for Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to have to change a little bit of how he plays. I think that goes into the hire. Again, he should still be able to put up numbers. He is a freak. He's an amazing player. But I think he's got to tighten those things up. And that may be what they're looking for in their head coach, is fitting that offense around him more, or tightening those little things that win you games up, which is the accuracy, decision-making in the playoffs when it's cold as shit.
That's why I think they should go defensive, hardcore defensive, and tighten it up to where he's throwing the ball 20. Yeah, Signetti.
Well,
by the way, you talked about for Mendoza possibly going to the Raiders as the number one pick. You know who Mendoza reminds me of as his NFL comp?
Tom Brady.
No, Andrew Luck.
Oh,
I think it's like even his his mental state,
concussed.
His tick of the tism there. It's like exactly Andrew Luck.
Don't make fun of people because they're smart. You know, Mendoza was a Yale commit.
Don't make fun of people.
I'm not making fun of him because they're smart.
Because he's smart.
I'm saying he reminds me of Andrew Luck.
To a word you said.
I heard every goddamn word.
Read between the lines, Theo.
Read between the lines. No, Mendoza reminds me of Andrew Luck. I think it feels like his head is better than everyone else's. He's very accurate. He's athletic. He's not as athletic as Andrew Luck was, but he's still athletic enough to move and to move around the pocket. And he's big. He's like 6'5". Like he feels like the can't miss, like NFL prototype.
Jamarcus Russell's can't miss.
Jamarcus Russell was ridiculous.
Last time the Raiders had the number one pick, by the way.
Was Jamarcus Russell,
All right, my third strike is going to be the NHL Winter Classic. This year played on January 2nd between the New York Rangers and the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers in Lone Depot Park, which is where the Marlins play. So basically they packed that stadium, which meant there were more people at that game than at every Marlins game combined for the last year. So that was nice to see the stadium get used. Right, the bathrooms probably, they had to exercise those gaskets because they probably haven't gotten flushed in God knows how long because there's never been anyone there.
Wait, they don't have troughs?
If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
What's the Flanders cider one? If it's tangy
and
yellow, you got juice there, fellow.
If it's clear and yellow, you got juice there, fella. If it's tangy and brown, you're in cider town.
Yes, thank you. Stupid Flanders.
Thanks for tuning into our show. We'll never do it again.
Yes. Now, the Winter Classic Rangers, Panthers. The Rangers won that game 5-1, beat down over the Panthers, who are still without Matthew Tkachuk and Alexander Barkov and, some other main pieces. But they are still the two-time defending champs. They had the roof open for whatever the hell it's worth there.
Yeah.
But I would like to point out Mika Zibanejad of the Rangers. He had the first ever hat trick in an outdoor game, I think, or at least in a Winter Classic. I want to say they said it in an outdoor game at all, which is crazy to me. Yes, it haven't been a lot of those games, but there's still been enough of those when you factor in all the outdoor, like Stadium Series games, that no one netted a hat trick until Zibanejad came around and did it. He also had 2 assists, so he had 5 points in that game.
Goodness.
As New York won 5-1. I guess my one thing with it, as I love the Winter Classic, watch it every year, right? I feel like a lot of us do. At this point, it's one of the greatest things the NHL's ever done. But the reason it was great is because it was like, let's play in this cold as shit city outside where everything is frozen and icicles are growing on beards like hockey intended, in the tundra. Here we were in 62, I think was what the temperature was, which is cold as shit for Miami. But it's 62 degrees and we're hanging out in Miami.
I thought they were going to bring the jacuzzis back on the club levels in that stadium. Because didn't that stadium have jacuzzis at one point?
Is that what Jeter got? I think Jeter got rid of that shit.
Probably.
Jeter came in and said, this is all stupid. Like, he got rid of that dumbass.
Yeah.
After they literally just built the stadium.
Yeah.
He was there 2 years after they built the stadium.
Trade away Giancarlo and you're going to take away our jacuzzis? Fuck you, Jeter.
Well, his rationale was...
Yeah.
Was,
shitty GM.
We weren't winning with them. Why should I keep them?
Yeah. Get something for him.
And, yeah.
It was a good game, though. I always like hearing what the players have to say about the ice, and the consensus here, with no surprise to anyone, was that everyone said that the ice felt slow, just because obviously it's hotter. The ice isn't freezing as quickly as it would compared to any other outdoor game, right? I mean, you might as well play an outdoor game in fucking Arizona, right, or Mexico City,
Well, I mean, those might be colder because of the dry air and the altitude.
I say you play it in the Grand Canyon. Make an outdoor game there, because by the way, the Grand Canyon
on the Colorado River, we ice over the river
cold.
and make a temporary
Evil
dam.
jumps the canyon as the puck drops.
Now we're talking. This is entertainment.
Yeah.
This is what the people want.
Here comes Travis Pastrana and the Nitro Circus.
By the way, the Grand Canyon does get crazy cold.
It was a good game.
Dry altitude.
I mean, you just want to. I think I would have liked the game to have been a little closer, but I mean, still, a Winter Classic is a Winter Classic. You gotta watch it.
Yeah, and again, for us kind of criticizing or whatever, poking fun at the Miami and all that stuff, I believe the Panthers were the only team in the league who had not played in an outdoor game. And it's kind of like, okay, they've been the best team in the league for the last couple of years. We have never put them on here. We have to find a way to fit them into this.
Are they?
It was almost obligatory.
Is that the furthest south Winter Classic we've ever had?
Yes, I think it's the furthest south NHL game's ever been played.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Because it's further south than Sunrise. There was something like that. It's definitely the furthest south they've done an outdoor game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, again, it's the Panthers. You have to, if they're the only team that's ever done it and they're your best team, you got to give them the shot at being on that stage. Now, they could have done it where the Panthers travel to, Toronto and they
Boston.
play a game or Boston, any of these cities. But you also want to reward Florida for doing it, right? And so that's why they had the Rangers come down, one of the marquee teams.
Well, they got a good crowd.
Marquee
right?
brands. The Rangers suck, but marquee brands in the league coming down, right? You gotta reward them at some point. So
whoever comes up with these ideas for the NHL, and granted the Winter Classic's been around for a while, the Stadium Series has been around for a while, but whoever comes up with these ideas for the Winter Classic, the Stadium Series, the Four Nations, the NBA needs to offer them a giant train full of money to have them do these ideas for basketball, because I mean the stupid like mid-season tournaments that the NBA does, where we're gonna put different hardwood down, and
you can't even watch
ugly as hell. You can't watch it.
Is gonna wear a jersey that says Cream City on it.
Cream City, Cream City, bitch.
The cream rises to the top. But yeah, the NBA needs to start coming up with some shit like this, because hockey is fucking killing it, dude.
Yeah. Anything else before we get to our favorites?
No, let's do I'm so excited for the favorites.
So that's going to take us to our favorites segment, brought to you as always by One Legacy Title and Escrow in Jacksonville, Florida. Nothing new there for season 3. Follow them on Instagram at One Legacy Florida and visit them at onelegacyflorida.com to see how they can help you with your next house closing. One Legacy Title and Escrow, because your legacy matters. Would like to give a shout out to them. They proudly were at the Gator Bowl because they're part of the committee for that. And nice that was a UVA triumph to get to the record 11 wins. So just wanted to, at Everbank Stadium, I believe. Is it Everbank? The Jaguar Stadium? That may not be what it is. I think it is.
No, Duval.
In Jacksonville. Duval. But yes, our favorites this week to start off and kick off season 3. We went with our bold predictions for 2026. And now Kamlo and I each followed suit and went with 26 predictions for 2026. Now the boy here is
that's just an insane number. There's no way
he's not as Nostradamus.
Let the Schlemiel and the Schlemazel go first. So the boy
Kiffin.
Bold predictions for 2026.
Okay, I'm gonna mute unless you guys want to send me yours so I can add them to my spreadsheet later. Otherwise, I'm gonna mute and type while this is happening.
Okay.
Just send them to me.
I have 4 of them. Okay. We're gonna start with the Big 12 wins the college football national championship next season, and basically that would probably be Texas Tech. Okay. So next year, Big 12 college football national champion.
But that
would happen in
2027.
Yeah, I know, but it would be part of the 26th season.
Dickhead. No, it's got to be calendar year. Calendar year.
Can't even follow directions, and you only had 4 of them.
All right, whatever. We'll mark it down and put an asterisk next to it.
In post.
Whatever. All right, next one. Milwaukee Brewers win the World Series.
Whoa, that is a very bold prediction.
I thought they were one of the best teams this year. They gotta learn how to beat the big boys next year.
Okay.
Milwaukee Brewers win the World Series. Next one, USA wins both hockey and baseball. Coming in here with Hockey Olympics and the World Baseball Classic. We go 2 for 2.
Hockey winning gold medal.
Yeah.
You're parlaying a prediction? Whoa.
Yes, he is.
You said this is bold predictions.
Action, gotta let it ride.
That is a very bold prediction.
You said bold predictions.
Yeah,
my number one. Yeah, that's a pretty bold prediction there, eh, guy? My number one bold prediction: Iowa will be a Final Four team. Iowa basketball will get to the Final Four.
I like that.
Of this calendar year.
Yes, of this calendar year.
Okay.
March.
Okay. Whoa.
March, April of this calendar year. Iowa with Bennett Sturtz, one of my favorite
Stevie, that's a good one.
College basketball players.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, good one.
All right, give me your 26, I'm just going to zone out the 26 of them. That's just absurd.
Do you want me to go first, Kamlo, since you're so hyped with this? I'd gladly go if...
No, I'll go. Let's keep it. Okay. You always close us out. I'll let you close us out.
Go ahead.
I appreciate, though. That's very gentlemanly of you.
I dabble.
You guys have already. I sent you guys mine when I came up with this because I didn't get a lot of traction in the group chat, so I was too excited and had to send you guys mine. I have made a couple of changes since then. One most as recently as while we've been recording. All right, so I'll go through them. If there's anything you guys want to comment on, let's just shout it out. Okay. Number 1, Dodgers will make it back to the World Series, but they will lose in the World Series this year. Number 2, Shohei Ohtani will have a career high of intentional walks this year. His career high right now is 88 intentional walks, and it was last season. Number 4, Cal Raleigh replicates what he did last year. Maybe not necessarily numbers, but he will continue to just hit absolute nukes from both sides of the plate, and
all over the place.
Yeah, big dumper, going to keep dumping. Number 5, Stevie, this one's for you. Kyle Schwarber. That's our MVP. That's going to be our MVP this year. I feel it in my plums.
That's going to be, yeah. I love it. It's going to be very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Number 6, I think this is my first real bold one. LeBron retires. LeBron will retire this year. Number 7, piggybacking off of LeBron's departure, Bronny James and JJ Redick gone from the Los Angeles Lakers. Now that could mean maybe Bronny goes and plays G League. But he will not be in a Lakers uniform. He's going to go back to college. Lakers roster. He will be off the Lakers roster this year. Number 8, Drake May MVP.
I like it.
Number 9.
So is that being named MVP of this football season?
Like in a couple months, or in a month.
Weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks. Drake May will be MVP.
Yep.
Number 9. Denver Broncos, San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl. San Francisco wins. Number 10, can't pronounce his first name, McMillan from the Carolina Panthers wins Rookie of the Year. Number 11, Teteroa. Sure, McMillan will win the Rookie of the Year. Number 11, JMU football will have a losing record next year. This year, sorry.
No chance.
Number 12, Virginia Tech gets a top-tier bowl game. So that could be college football playoff. It could be Sugar Bowl. It could be whatever. Rose Bowl.
Those are all playoff games.
Okay, whatever. They will get a top. We'll talk about it.
So they'll be in the playoff, is what you're saying.
No top-tier bowl game. I got to be specific. We can talk about when they get in a bowl game. We'll discuss
Pop-Tart Bowl. There's a Pop-Tart Bowl.
Pop-Tarts Bowl.
That's top tier. That's top tier. It's got to be. I mean, that's just the nation's champion.
Do you want to change it to they'll be in a ranked matchup in a bowl game? Because that would be a top tier one.
I want it to be top tier bowl game.
That's what.
And as I'm saying this, it makes it official. There will be no changes.
I will end this right now.
Number 13, Purdue wins March Madness this year. Number 14, Charleston Southern gets on the March Madness bracket via the Big South Conference Championship.
Go Buccaneers.
Yeah, go Bucks. Number 15, Orioles secure a wild card playoff berth. Number 16, the Washington Capitals will miss the playoffs. 17, Buffalo Sabres will end the season with a winning record.
But will they make the playoffs?
It's not part of the prediction. I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, they will have a winning record. I think that's as bold as it can get for the great people of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Number 18, in honor of the World Cup coming to the Americas, England versus Spain final. England wins the World Cup. As a fuck you for the Revolutionary War, England will win the World Cup on American soil. Number 19, the Carolina Hurricanes will win the Stanley Cup. This is one I just changed. Number 20, Bill Belichick back in the NFL. Atlanta Falcons have an opening that could be a good fit. He's a defensive-minded coach. He's a defensive-minded coach. The defensive culture of Baltimore needs a coach, and guess who is a property owner and homeowner in Ellicott City? Bill Belichick.
He has a house in Ellicott City?
Yeah, he lives right up the street from Pat Sajak.
Why?
Huh. No way. Yeah, why?
Yeah. Cool, right? Who knows, man? Why does Pat Sajak?
That's our Guatemalan continues.
Sorry. Pat Sajak doesn't live in Ellicott City. Pat Sajak lives in Severna Park, which is right up the road from Ellicott City. Keeping with hockey for a second, Wedgwood will win the Vezina. The guy's numbers are unreal. His record doesn't really support it, but his shutouts and save percentages are insane. So give me Wedgwood for the Vezina. Sorry, there's someone like revving an engine outside my window. Can you hear it?
No.
Oh, okay. SGA wins MVP again. Spurs make it to the NBA Finals and lose. There will be a team out there that will solve Wemby in the finals. 20 whatever prediction, 23rd prediction. Scotty Scheffler, 7 wins, including 1 major. He had 6 wins last year, and that was with a late start and a hurt hand. Give me Scotty Scheffler, 7 wins and 1 major. JJ Spawn will be in the top 5 in rankings this year. USA knocked out in the first round of knockouts for the World Cup. They will make it out of the group stage and will lose that first game. And then last but not least, shout out to my F1 people. Max Verstappen, makes it back to the number 1 in F1 of Red Bull Racing. Let's go.
All right.
Ready, break.
I like it.
Let's have a good year.
Tomlo.
Let's have a good year.
All right, so my 26 for 26. Number 1, if Quinn Hughes is part of the top defensive pairing for the U.S. at the Olympics, they will not win gold and they will lose to Canada. Are you okay? Why is that?
I spit water all over the wall.
Spit take?
That's your first one?
First one. If he is in the top, again, if he's part of the top defensive pairing for the U.S., they will not win gold medal. They will lose to Canada.
It's an insane prediction.
Just watch when it happens. They will eat his shit up because he doesn't play defense. He doesn't play enough defense to match their offensive skill. Next one,
Quinn Hughes will no longer be on the program next week.
That's fine. Give me Dustin Byfuglien.
Obviously, give me Dustin Byfuglien. Yeah.
Canada for those Canadian tiers. Next one, the Orioles will finish in 3rd place in the AL East and miss the playoffs again.
Fuck you.
It's just for you. A non-American and non-European golfer will win a men's major this year. So a golfer not from the U.S. and not from Europe will win a major. Okay. A men's major. The Canadians will... Maybe. The Canadians will end the curse of Marty McSorley and they will win the Stanley Cup this year.
You can go fuck yourself right now. Absolutely not.
The Bills will win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Wrexham will get promoted to the Premier League.
Ooh, I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Napoli will win back-to-back Serie A titles, and that'll make 3 in 4 years for the Fighting Maradonas. I believe Antonio Conte is their coach. Which I feel like no one's talking about because they still don't get talked about because
it's Serie A.
Well, even in Serie A, they probably don't get talked about the way they talk about Milan and Inter.
Facts.
And Juventus, yeah. The U.S. men's national team will reach the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and so will Team Canada. Whoa. Ohtani and Judge will not...
the prediction.
Yes. Well, Ohtani and Judge will not win MVP this year. Neither will win MVP. And an American League team will win the World Series. I'm not saying who, but an American League team will win. The Pirates will make the playoffs as the 3rd wildcard team in the NL.
I was thinking about putting that one.
I actually thought you would have that one. Wemby will win it.
Very close. I guess if I had 26 of them, I would have had it.
But there was room on your list.
Yeah, dipshit. Wemby will win MVP, but the Thunder will repeat as champs. SEC men's basketball will not have a team in the Elite Eight.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yep.
That's a
good
one.
They will not have a team in the Elite Eight. I do not think they're nearly as good as they were last year.
I agree with that.
They'll get exposed in the tournament. The Knicks will blow a 3-1 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's oddly specific, son.
This is turning it from predictions to spite.
Why is that spite?
This is demon.
I genuinely think that's going to happen. They'll have a 3-1 lead and just mix it up.
He's just having a demon seance.
Lauren Coughlin from
UVA.
She will win her first career major on the LPGA Tour.
That's a good one.
Coco Gauff will complete the career Grand Slam, winning the Australian Open and Wimbledon this year. Someone other than Sinner and Alcaraz will win a major on the men's side because
that's wild.
I don't know.
It's just that.
Come on, Nick,
I actually don't know the last time someone other than them won a major. It didn't happen last year. I don't even know if it happened the year before.
Djokovic?
Yeah, probably 2 years ago. Scotty Scheffler will win only in quotes, only one major this year, but it will be the U.S. Open, so he completes the career Grand Slam. The Wizards, our Zards, will finish with the worst record in the NBA, but they will not win the draft lottery for the number 1 pick. Just
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Injury to insult.
Fuck.
Yeah, the NBA doesn't want them to have the number 1 pick anyway. It'll be someone else.
The AL West will get 3 teams in the playoffs, including the Oakland, Sacramento, Vegas A's. Will make the playoffs.
Whoa, okay.
Notre Dame will lose to the Naval Academy in Foxborough, and that loss will keep them out of the playoff again.
That's a spite prediction.
Yes, it is. Alabama will also miss the playoffs, and they will fire Kalen DeBoer.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Norway will win their World Cup group, which includes France, and Holland will win the Golden Boot despite playing only 4 games because they will lose in the knockout stage immediately.
Okay.
And who are the Dutch?
Norway, you dickhead. Norway.
Holland.
Holland.
That's his last name.
Erling Haaland. Haaland. Jeez, read a book. The greatest goal scorer in the world right now. The Viking. Bijan Robinson will record 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards next year. He will win Offensive Player of the Year, and the Falcons will win the NFC South next year. Tyler Reddick will win the NASCAR Cup Series Championship for 23XI Racing.
Nice.
An SEC team will win the Men's College World Series NCAA Baseball for the 7th straight year. Did you know that? The SEC has won the last 6 baseball championships.
It's been a lot of different teams, too.
Yes, it has. That's why I said that's why I couldn't pick a team, because it's been all different teams each time.
Pretty good.
An SEC team will win the College World Series again. And then my last one here, it's number 26. Virginia Tech will not win a national title in anything.
So your prediction is that Virginia Tech continues with business as usual?
Yes.
Business as
usual.
You
haven't seen their bass fishing lineup, you fuck.
It's not an was it like a NAIA or whatever it is, like Division I sanctioned
sport? I got that bass
something.
fishing NIL money. What's up?
They might win. They have a chance at wrestling.
They've always had.
By the way, they beat that game against UVA basketball game. They won in triple overtime. Impressive win by Virginia Tech, by the way. That was their first win against UVA in any sport this season.
Yeah. Can you say that again for the people?
Crazy.
Clip that. Again, no national title coming to Blacksburg. That's my last major
But
prediction.
they have a top-tier bowl game to look forward to.
Whatever the hell that means.
It means what it means.
Anything else before we get to what to look for?
No, your 26 predictions is just absurd. I texted Kayla and she said 26 for fuck's sake.
26
Those were her
26.
exact words.
I thought that was a good number.
I did. Yeah, I agree as well. I put time and effort into that to get to 26.
I put time and effort into mine as well.
Clearly the boy didn't
at all.
Because he's
nope.
Yeah.
Pussy.
That's why they call him Mail It In Stevie.
Yep. Send it. This name Pepe Sylvia keeps
Put
coming
stamp
up over
on
and over again. Pepe Sylvia. A box is full of Pepe. That's the boy.
Not only do all these people exist, they've been asking about their mail for weeks. That's all they're talking about up there.
Calm down and have another cigarette. That'll take us to what to look for, brought to you as always by VB Cookie Co. Looking for the perfect way to stand out at the next event you are hosting? Well, custom cookies are a timeless way to have everyone still buzzing even after they leave. Look no further for your cookie needs than VB Cookie Co. Follow them on Instagram at VB Cookie Co. and message them to order yours today. Whether it is a bridal shower, birthday, engagement, or baby shower, their team will work with you to make all your cookie dreams come true. VB Cookie Co. for the sweetest moments. Boy, give the people something to look for.
The semifinals in the college football playoff, obviously. I am also looking forward to this because I have a bet with our uncle that a Big Ten team will win the national championship, and he has an SEC team win a national championship, and I'm actually guaranteed a Big Ten team gets there, which is nice. So, get a nice 6-pack of beer, which would be nice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Kamala?
NFL wildcard round starts this weekend. We got games Saturday, Sunday, and I think that's going to be just a lot of fun to watch.
And Monday. There's a game Monday.
Yeah, and Monday as well. You're right. And Monday, the Texans and Steelers play on Monday. Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. So I'll be locked in for wild card football this weekend.
Best game of that, in my opinion, is Green Bay at Chicago.
That's going to be a fun one, yeah, because you have the region, you have the divisional rivalry there. That's going to be fun.
Yes, that's Saturday night too.
Malort and Savior, Caleb Williams.
I'm going to be locked Johnson. Into Chargers Pats Sunday night.
All right, I've got
all day for a Sunday night.
Some off the wall stuff here just for everyone. The NLL, the National Lacrosse League, Saturday night we have the battle for Western New York, the Buffalo Bandits at the Rochester Nighthawks, which I believe, separated hour and a half is what it takes to go from Rochester to Buffalo, I believe. And I believe both teams also only have one
lake
loss.
Effect snowstorm.
Well, this is an indoor, it's box lacrosse, which is fun as hell to watch if you've never watched it. But it's very much like hockey. But both teams are up there in the standings of the league, so the winner of this game puts themselves in a pretty good position in the NLL. Then I have men's NCAA hockey, the defending champ in fighting John Saunders, RIP. Western Michigan, number 6 in the country, they will travel to take on number 7 Denver, which in a 2-game series there, Friday and Saturday. That should be good. And then I have this one's for you, boy. Men's basketball. Saturday night, the Civil War, or the Holy War, comes back. Number 9 BYU at Utah.
I expect BYU to beat the ever-living piss out of Utah on that.
Yes, but again,
this one's a little different than football.
Dum.
It is, but famous last words, especially in a sport like basketball and college and kids, you never know. But just thought that was there.
I do love a good Holy War matchup. By the way, you know who West Virginia gets to play Saturday. Oh, brutal.
Mountains versus
I tell you what,
Plains.
your Virginia Cavaliers look good. Besides that loss to Tech, they followed it up by beating the hell out of NC State.
I saw a stat that UVA is the only team in the country with 2 road wins versus Ken Palm top 50 teams, and both of them were by 15 or more points. They went at Texas and beat the hell out of the Longhorns, and then they went to NC State and won by 15. And sources tell me it could have been worse.
We can say whatever.
Not your father's UVA team, by the way. They play fast, and Ryan Odom,
furious,
very different than Tony Bennett. Gave a nice
choke your drift.
I think he said "fuck you" to the refs. If you could read lips, correct?
Tony would have never done that.
I know, and he got a technical. Brian Odom got a technical, but he was getting held back, just pointing and screaming to the refs. Fuck you.
Yeah, I think Bennett had two technicals the entire time he was at UVA.
It took Ryan Odom
like
15
12
games
years apart. I think so, yeah.
But it's fun though. They got the right guy. What a hire by was it Carla Williams?
She's the AD.
What a hire. I mean, it does help.
Arguably the best AD in the country, truly. With the hire she gets, the support she provides, not just to the big quote big time sports either. The success that they have throughout their athletics programs is really amazing, and that does reflect so much on the leadership of Carla Williams. She was on the playoff committee, so every time we criticize them, and she was like the one holdover too from last year, so now we look like jackasses. But she is arguably the best athletic director in the country, truly. She is. Anything else before we wrap this up? Conley, you're on mute, so we can't hear you. That's going to do it for us here at What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I'm the coach, Nick Vesci, for the boy Stephen Vesci and the man Stephen Comlow. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And all that information can be found on our website, WCME Sports. Don't forget to be decent to each other. Have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care, Guatemala.